This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 22. Proverbs 22 and verse 7, and it reads, The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. I'm going to start off by giving all praise, all honor, and all glory to Loyam, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kodesh Bakatham. And say double honors to my apostles, the elders of the great millstone who teach and do rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing his truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Aqua, that are listening and learning. Lord willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad, and land of other nations appearing like the other nations, but whom subscribe to this truth. To you I say shalom. Your brother Yahweh up out of the GMS Cleveland Church, a fellow servant. I'm coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit and through the power of Yahweh Shemel Shah. I was following, if you follow my page, I've been speaking on how the Lord put the Spirit on me to, basically follow these different economists. Being that I'm doing that, I've found out some, basically this economist or keeper of the house made mention of, because they're reading articles as well, like brothers bring out. So made me aware. It was all through the Spirit. I came across this article. It talked about, because the interest rate on credit cards or any loans that you're getting are ridiculous right now. I don't know off the top of my head how high interest is, but that's one of the reasons why people are so struggling. People that took out any kind of money from, the bank, or like I said again, got car loans, using credit cards, and they're talking about a lot of people have pretty much ran out of money, and that's why a lot of people putting because they ran out of money and it's not any stimulus going, people are charging a lot of things because you got inflation that's kicking everybody ass, what I mean, which is mentioned in the scriptures, but this is one of the things that's breaking Babylon down, not necessarily the politicians that's behind the scenes, because you got to remember they're living six-figure, they're getting six-figure incomes, and then it's certain ways they get money. They got lobbyists, people pay them to push certain agendas and whatnot. So they might have a income of this on the books, but then have a whole different nest egg of money. This isn't affecting them the same way as far as it affects you. With that being said, I'm gonna look at the article real quick. It says credit card rates are practically in loan shark territory as they hit record highs, advisor says. So it says credit card interest rates, also known as APY, are at an all-time high. Or at all-time highs. The Federal Reserve has raised borrowing costs to their highest level in 2 decades to tame pandemic-era inflation, making just the minimum monthly payments on a credit card is financially brutal for customers. So like for consumers, one expert said, and it's all set up, and like I said, made me think about just how unjust and unfair this man's system is. When you go into the scriptures, Israel, you got those Khazars, those Amalekites, those Jewish people that basically call themselves, the children of the Most High God, and call themselves keeping our laws and claiming to be the people. They basically, it is a law where, you're allowed to charge interest to, the other nations, but to your own people, you're not supposed to charge interest. You even have, the year release, where if it was any debt, you're supposed to forget that debt. If you sold a property, that property's supposed to come back to you, if I'm not mistaken, So, I think that's in a Jubilee year, if I'm not mistaken. Salakia, trying to do this video on the fly, and Salakia, not trying to offend anybody. I should have had my, I should have basically had this put together a little bit better. I was going to wait to try to do it, on my lunch break, but it don't look like I'm gonna get a chance to, and I wanted to, throw something on wax real quick. But with that all being said, um, so I was saying, looking at how unrighteous this system is, because you know, again, a lot of this system is based off of usury. When you go into the whole banking system is set up where a person, a bank is allowed to lend 10 times as much money that they actually have physically inside their bank. But it's considered witchcraft because there's a book called The Babylonian Bankers, and when you go into basically what they're doing with America, and this Edomite basically took from the Babylonians was a system of the credit, because it's basically, again, a form of witchcraft, because they, you give them an actual asset and they give you, basically like with credit, like when you get money from a bank, they're loaning you money that they don't truly have. And then you have to put some kind of collateral up. Well, okay, say for instance, you default on that loan, they are able to, seize that asset. So they didn't really have the money to begin with. You know what I mean? And pretty much like a brother was going into this, when they go into this whole digital currency, it's going to really allow them to, because all of this is going to really be is number on the screens. Right now we're dealing with paper, which although, is not really backed by nothing, you can physically hold it because people believe it has value. But when it comes to digital, that means that they'll just, you'll never physically hold it. You can stash paper, you can stash your actual money. So, when times get harder, you can go back to that money. Nowadays, it's not like that. And that's what the system that they're trying to create will be all about. Said credit cards are particularly charging loan shark interest rates after hitting historic highs this year, said Barry Glassman, a certified financial planner and member of CNBC's. Yeah, this is what I really wanted, because I knew it was like in the 20s. A credit card interest rate is the price consumers pay to borrow money. It's most commonly expressed as a yearly rate, the annual percentage rate, or APR. The average interest rate for all credit cards accounts hit 20.68% in May, the highest on record according to most recent Federal Reserve data. So it says Ted Rossman, industry analyst for creditcards.com, doesn't think rates have gotten nearly bad enough to be in loan shark territory. But, I was listening to different economists, and they were saying it's beyond that. Like that phrase, they're kicking the can down the road for future generations. They say it's beyond that. They don't know what they're kicking. You know what I mean? Because the amount of money printing really has, basically it really has gotten out of control. And from what I've heard, they're talking about printing more money. So if this kind of created all this high ass inflation, just imagine if they print more money, what that's gonna do. This place is truly over. Bear with me. It says some payday loans charge 400% to 500%, or even more than 600%, for example, he said. But credit cards do charge the highest interest rates of any mainstream consumer debt by far, he wrote in an email. We're talking 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, maybe even higher, compared with your typical mortgage or car or student loan. Salakia. This is why it's so important to prioritize credit card debt payoff. And the thing is this, the economy is so bad right now. Like, again, right now, it's a lot of companies trying to lay off. I found something interesting about my job just recently. And the devil's real shrewd, with you smile right in your fucking face while he trying to cut your throat. But again, it says high rates can have a real effect. Slovakia. It says high rates can have a real effect. Can have a real effect, devastating snowball. It's Slovakia. High rates can have a real devastating snowball effect. Consumer borrowing costs have increased sharply since early 2022 as the Federal Reserve began raising its benchmark interest rate to tame inflation. Card holders who pay their balance in full and on time don't that's funny. So lucky. Wow. It says card holders who pay their balances in full and on time don't amass interest, but banks do charge interest when consumers carry a balance from month to month. Such accounts had a 22.16 average interest rate in May, also a record high according to the Fed. And basically, I mean, I don't know the math on it, but again, this is ridiculous interest. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's basically set up for you to not to get out of debt. You know, like a lot of people that get student loans and whatnot. And student loans, the interest on that is actually relatively low. You know, but you know, with some of these credit card companies or these buy here, pay here's, these you know, like these rent centers, like the interest on them is ridiculous, especially now because of inflation. So again, it just made me think about how unrighteous this devil is, because you know, you got a lot of people struggling right now because of the fact everything is so much more expensive. You know, and just showing you, you know, the wickedness of this devil. You know what I mean? Because he created a system that is built on usury for real. You know what I mean? Like you know, in order to get prosperity in this kingdom, you have to get you know, like if you want to buy a house like that, which is considered the American dream, to own a house and to raise a family. Well, in order to get that house, 9 times out of 10, you have to take out you have to take out a loan. Well, that loan, you may not be able to afford to pay that loan, you know, because the ridiculous amount of interest, you know. And again, like I said, people are struggling so bad. A lot of people are living off their credit card. I was listening to one of the economists. He was saying how certain people are going to start making tough choices, and especially with next month being they're about to reintroduce student loan payments, because you got to remember, for the last couple of years that was all furloughed. Well, now all these things are about to come back to fruition, and you got to pay that, and you know, you got people barely surviving, so they're going to come to the conclusion, what should I have to pay? Should I feed my family? Should I pay my rent? Should I, you know, pay the student loan? So you're about to have a lot of defaults. And that's just completely wicked. It made me think of this scripture. Slovakia. It's Proverbs. This Proverbs chapter 16 and verse 12, and it reads, "It is an abomination to kings to commit wickedness, for the throne is established by righteousness." And this system was established on wickedness. You got to remember how they got this land, by rape, robbery, and murder. You know, scriptures talk about in the book of Numbers, chapter 35, blood to fall off the land, and the blood basically can't be cleansed until the blood. This land can't be cleansed except by the blood of those that shed the blood on this land. You know, this devil has a lot to pay for. You know, And that's why you have this whole spirit out here where, you know, it's a dog eat dog world, and you know what I mean, the mindset of, you know, it's all about me, and this vain mindset, you know. And then you know, you have this mindset also of individuals just chasing after you know, money, you know. And it's funny because you got individuals chasing after money that's not worth anything. Scriptures talk about they oppress of the poor. This is the book, you know, and this is this devil's mindset. Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 2. And it says, turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. You know, these predatory lending organizations in America, you know, they supposed to have laws set up in place where, you know, when you got predatory lending, but yet still right now they're allowing that to take place. So the system is broken. That whole system that you got set up is fucked up, you know. Because simple fact is, like I say, I know for a fact that they have organizations, and like I said again, if you catch a company trying to do predatory lending, they could be at fault. But now, because like I said, how the system is built on the way it's built, you know, like I said, and this inflation kicking in, and then you got inflations also with, you know, actual, you know, it could be like that with gold and silver, because when you know, look in the scriptures, you had famines and whatnot, you know, it showed you that in the old Roman system, because basically they took, you know, they put less silver in the denarius, which was the Roman coin of that day. You know, they basically would give less and less silver to the point where it wasn't really any silver at all in it, in the coin. It's the book of Amos chapter 8 and verse 6, and it reads, you know, but it tells you and what's that in the Apocrypha about how basically he would use thee if he have need of you. And right now, like I said, this devil's mindset is he's trying to put everybody in a system where he's gonna be able to, you know, you're gonna be a product. You know, you're gonna be a product that spends money in his system. you know, just constantly just spending money in his system. You know, but you ain't gonna have no rights. You're gonna be more so like a serf. You know, this is Amos chapter 8 and verse 6. That we may buy the poor for silver and the needy for a pair of shoes, yea, and sell the refuse of the wheat. You know, and these people look at most Americans or Babylonians as commodities, you know, walking commodities, and that's why he's willing to put a chip in you so he can scan you. You know what I mean? America was founded on, you know, the Bible and you know, good, you know, Christian values, and then look at where we at now. You know, when you go into 1776 and we in 2023 and look at the state of America, you know what I mean? Like, do you really think that this place, you know, is founded on that? You know, when you go into Solomon's kingdom, you know, he had a kingdom. You know what I mean? And 40 years apiece. This is Ezekiel chapter 18 and verse 4. Behold, all souls are mine, as the soul of the Father, so also the soul of the Son is mine. The soul that sinneth, it shall die. But if any man be just, and do that which is lawful and right, and have not eaten upon the mountains, neither have lifted up his eyes to the idols of the house of Israel, neither have defiled his neighbor's wife, neither have come near to a mistress woman, and have not oppressed any, but have restored to the debtor his pledge, but hath spoiled none by violence, hath given his bread to the hungry, and have covered the naked with a garment. He that have not given forth upon usury, neither hath taken any increase, that hath withdrawn his hand from iniquity, hath executed true judgment between man and man, have walked in my statutes, and have kept my judgments to deal truly. He is just, he shall surely live, saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Power. Skipping. Verse 11, and that, Salakia. Is this going into, but I'm just trying to get the mindset of usury. Verse 13. Hath oppressed the poor and needy, hath spoiled by violence. Salakia. Verse 12. Hath oppressed the poor and needy, hath spoiled by violence, hath not restored the pledge, and hath lifted up his eyes to the idols, hath committed abominations. And you know, when you read this, you know, it made me think of Jacob and Esau, you know. Because you had one righteous and one wicked. Hath given forth upon usury, and hath taken increase, shall he then live? He shall not live. He hath done all these abominations. He shall surely die. His blood shall be upon him. And it's going into, now lo, if he beget a son. So, you know, you had Abraham, Isaac, and then Isaac beget Esau and Jacob, you know. And, you know, you had one righteous son, and you had, you know, the wicked. And that's where you get the wicked today, you know. Because you have, you know, individuals that are wicked, but you have a nation of people that's the wicked. And who, you know, tells you in the scriptures in the book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. You know, these bankers basically rule this world, you know. That's why that Rothschild made that statement, give me control of a country's money and I care not who make their laws, you know. What's that saying? Money makes the world go around. And that's why these devils thinking about controlling the finances, and literally, you know, they're going to have everybody in subjection to them. But they also know through the spirit that it's going to be individuals that's not going to bow down to this, you know. And that's why you got Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2, you know. At the end, they, you know, the Most High's elect, no matter what this devil come with, is not going to bow down to this system, you know. This is the book of it's the book of Proverbs chapter 11. I'm gonna start at verse 18, Salakia, and it reads, "The wicked work of a deceitful work, but to him that soweth righteousness shall be a sure reward." Salakia, shall be a sure reward. As righteousness tend to life, so he that pursueth evil pursueth it to his own death. Verse 20, they that are of a forward heart are abomination to the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. But such as are upright in their way are his delight. If I'm not mistaken, I think forward is stubborn. I gotta look that up. It means will. 28, Proverbs 11 and 28. He that trusteth in his riches shall fall, but the righteous shall flourish as a branch. I like that one. Verse 31. Behold, the righteous shall be recompensed or rewarded in the earth, much more the wicked and the sinner. You know, scriptures tell you in the book of James, chapter 5 and verse 1, that how ye rich men, because your riches are corrupt. Tells you in the book of Ezekiel that they're gonna cast their silver and gold in the streets. These riches are gonna come to naught. They're gonna be basically a stumbling block to the wicked. So with that all being said, if you're so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the laws, statutes, and commandments of your power, whose true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, or you will be destroyed. With that, I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Call William by Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rcha Kodesh B'Katam. I say double honors to my apostles, the elders of the great millstone, who teach and do rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Akwata for listening and learning. Lord willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad, and the other nations appearing like the other nations, but subscribing to the truth. To you, I say shalom. Till next time I'm able to come on another lesson, I'm going to say shalom, shalom, and Mawat Lababah, shalom.